So I had a few kind of wild dreams last night, and I woke up this morning just like a lot of times I can't remember my dreams very well, and then there's times when like I remember them so vividly, like it just feels like I just like stepped out of another dimension. And last night I had so many dreams, and they were very clear, and there was one in particular that stood out to me, because when I was in my marriage a long time ago, I used to have dreams all the time of me driving and not having any control over the car that I'm driving, or like my eyes, I wouldn't be able to see, or something would be covering my vision. And it was like repetitive dreams of me just not being able to see where I was going. And I never got hurt, in the dreams, or never crashed. But I had a dream a couple months ago about me crashing, and the person that was driving, I couldn't see their face. But there was like, we went off a cliff, and it was like a totally safe, beautiful landing, and nobody got hurt. And then this dream that I had last night was, there was somebody that she was driving. She was she's a kid, and she's not my kid, but she's somebody else's kid. And she was driving. She's a teenager, so she just got her license, and she's driving, and she's distracted, and all of a sudden she doesn't realize she has to make a turn, and there's like this huge black wall in front of us, and all I hear her saying is, "Oh, oops," and then bam, we crash into the wall. And I remember like putting my arm up like that, like to protect myself from, like, I don't know what that was going to protect me from, but I remember putting it up in my dream, and I remember seeing shattered glass like flying at me. And then the next thing I knew, we were like all sitting at a table talking about that crash. Like there was not one injury to me or to her. And I think there was one other person in the car with us, and none of us had any injuries. And so I just like woke up this morning and was praying about it and trying to get understanding and clarity as to what like God was trying to speak to me through that dream. And it basically, I think it came about because of yesterday. So yesterday I had court, and I prayed. I just had everybody that I talked to pray for favor over me in court. I prayed for favor. I was thinking, favor, and just like letting this whole thing be dismissed, or let this whole thing be like over with, or whatever it is. I want my life back. But the reality is that these type of things take time. And even though I was not intoxicated when I got arrested, the courts don't know that, and so they have to do everything they can to make sure that they're doing their job and not just dismissing everything. And so it's taking a lot longer than I had ever imagined it would. However, something happened yesterday where I did get favor in the court. It wasn't, it was unexpected, and it wasn't even a big win, but it was a win for me, because I'm going to try to talk about this too without crying, because that courthouse gives me so much anxiety, and I don't deal with anxiety anymore. I am not that type of person anymore to deal with anxiety or allow it to consume me. Like, even at Children's Hospital recently, I've had to go a couple times with my boys, and I've sat in front of the parking lot and just prayed away my anxiety, because it's not necessary. It's a lie. It's a lie from the enemy. And so yesterday I show up to court, and my attorney meets me in the hall and tells me that we're going to reset it. And I'm just frustrated, because I'm like, I don't understand. And, I get really feisty when I'm feeling like I'm not being heard or understood, especially these days when I'm in situations where I'm in the walls of Children's Hospital or the walls of a courthouse. And so last time, I had to go get in front of the judge, it was when I had my public defender, and he didn't tell me certain things, And then he decides to withdraw from my case, and then I have to go in front of the judge with him already deciding to withdraw from my case, and the judge throws me back in jail because I did something wrong. Even though there was proof there's no alcohol in my system, I didn't blow into the breathalyzer properly. And so that has caused me severe anxiety in any time I go to court, because I just wonder, if I get in front of the judge, is she just going to throw me back in jail? And so yesterday, after talking to my attorney and, him explaining the process to me, and him basically telling me, like, Danielle, let me do my job. Like, I'm good at this. You've paid me to do this. Like, just trust me. And I said, I trust you. I'm going to let you do your job. You know better than I do. And I'm willing to wait, as long as it takes to get the best result we possibly can get. So he goes back in to go get a piece of paper that says my next court date. And when he comes out, he says, okay, Danielle, don't freak out. You are not going to jail. However, the judge wants to ask you questions about your breathalyzer, because there are times when I blow into it that I run out of air and it doesn't fully process. So then it aborts it, and then it has to start again. And so she just wanted to ask why I have so many aborted blows. And I simply told my attorney, I have a Cow's valve in my pulmonary valve. When I run out of breath, I run out of breath. I just can't blow in, especially if I'm driving and it goes off and I'm talking, or I'm trying to get it while focusing on driving, which seems to me be a driving hazard. But I pull it out and then I blow into it, and sometimes I just don't have enough air in me. And so it does that. So he wanted me to go up and talk to the judge and tell her, what had happened. Well, I faced the judge and I talked to her, and she was so kind and understanding of my situation, and just said, she understands. She's gonna, dismiss those, and she reminded me, make sure you blow into it 3 times a day, even if you're not driving, go 3 times a day, you still need to. And she explained things to me, and it was like day and night difference. And so I walked out of that courtroom just feeling like a huge weight taken off of me. Okay, this county doesn't have it have it for me to throw me back in jail at any little thing I do wrong. And so, but that was just the thing that God showed me, was that me running into that wall, I don't know what the outcome's gonna look like. I don't know where I'm going sometimes, and I'm not the driver. God is. God is constantly in the driver's seat in my life. And it seemed like a dark road ahead of me. However, the thing that God spoke to me the most was about my attorneys. My public defender, who I literally think was working for Satan, didn't care. He didn't care to tell me the truth about things. He didn't care to keep me out of jail. He didn't care about anything. And then I have an attorney who does care, and he wants the best outcome. So even if it takes a lot longer, just like in all situations when we're trusting God, it may take a lot longer, but that's because he has a better outcome for me than what I have right in front of me. And so that was just a really good visual of yes, this public defender didn't care about me, but he wasn't getting paid anything. My attorney has been paid. Just like our protection from God and deserved love has been paid by Jesus. And so remembering that when we're headed down a dark road and we can't see the end result, we can always trust that God, if we stick by God and we have him as the one that is guiding us, that we are always going to be protected and we won't be thrown back in jail. But if we decide that we're going to go the cheaper route, that's going to be costly. And so I just want to encourage anybody today that is struggling with, a dark path ahead of them, that they don't know the outcome. Cling to Jesus. Let God be your light and let him show you the way, because that is truly the only way to come out on the other side.